Hey guys, I figured I could do a sort report for you today. Short update about the progress of sorting down these two bins, large tubs of loose Lego that I did bring with me. And I mentioned this in the last footnotes, which it's almost time for the March footnotes, but this month what I've done is I've gone out and got these shoebox bins that I've started using, and I have my main groups now. So I think the last time we looked at this I had a Technic group, which has now been split, and what was the other group I had started? I don't remember now, but basically I have gone, I think there's like 12 to 15 groups that I'm trying to narrow everything down into, and then from there it actually gets broken down further once I have the capacity to go down to individual piece. But this does help find a balance somewhere in the middle of not just completely loose unsorted bricks, but also not requiring individual drawers for each different piece type. Like I mentioned, Technic now broken into two distinct styles. So I've got the what I would refer to as more like purely Technic and not as integrated with regular system, and then kind of the system Technic where you've got the modified plates, modified bricks, and different types of Technic elements. A lot of the original Technic that was first released in the 70s would be in this vein of it's either taking a brick or a plate and then making that into the Technic family, whereas all this stuff would be more modern Technic, some of the stuff that's been developed within that kind of family of parts. So yeah, two bins of Technic, and those are both getting pretty full. Both of these might cap out before I'm done with all of the loose brick. I have a tires bin going here, pretty self-explanatory. Rubber, rims, axles. The one thing I'm not sure, I might have replaced a few times back and forth, is propellers. I think I'm actually putting propellers in there, so there might be a little bit of that in each one. And then kind of a slopes group here. So all the curved slopes are together, and that bin so far isn't too full. But this is inverted, curved slopes, and regular. Upwards curved. I've even got some of the more dome structure elements going in this category. And then the more brick slope of the slope pieces, I've got the upwards and the inverted separated out. So both of those categories are pretty well balanced, it seems like at this point. Not too full, not too empty. That's kind of what I'm looking for as I sort through here. If I'm going to have one of these bins that's way lower or way more full than the others, that would kind of indicate it isn't a good subgroup. And it seems like this one back here and some of these other ones are way too empty, but actually these are categories that have already been filled up, and this is now the second bin. So this one back here is the modified bricks category, and I just put those over here into a separate bin. So that's already been filled up once. The other one over here is modified plates, which is this bin. So that's just started its second row. And then the regular bricks and regular plates, of course, are going to have at least two full bins each. It's pretty common piece types, so those are over here. And then other categories haven't covered yet are the irregular plates, so rounded or wedge, as well as half studded plates are in that one. All 1x1 rounds are going in there at the moment. This is kind of a miscellaneous structure category. A lot of the frames, door frames, windows, fences, cabinetry, cupboards, containers, wall panels, car doors, elements like that are going in this category, so more of a structural miscellaneous catch-all. Tiles, of course, are separate over here, and then the bar, clip, and dish. I am doing dishes in this category here. That one getting along nicely as well. That leaves a few smaller ones that I did start separating out. Just because you get into smaller elements, it's nice to have those a little more accessible. So this is round bricks, except for 2x2 rounds, which are going in modified bricks. These are going to be domes, cones, 1x1 round, 1x1 cone. I'm also doing the inverted 2x2 boat skid and truncated combs, different styles of that 1x1 round modified geometry. All going here, mixed together. Just a better way to get to these pieces instead of digging through modified bricks. Larger bin like that. And then smaller cheese slopes and wedges are getting their own bin as well. And there's only 3 piece types in here. The 1x2 grill wedge, the 1x2 double cheese, and the 1x1 regular cheese slope. So that's this entire little container, is just those 3 types of pieces. I'm pulling out minifigs and selected elements as I come across them. This isn't necessarily based on any particular pieces, just stuff that I'd like to have set aside for the time being and might want to have accessible later. And when I'm not actually sorting, I did build a few table scrap desktop module things, so yeah, just for fun right here. This one came about because I noticed the rocket nozzle, this bottom piece, if you turn that 45 degrees, it actually fits in a 3x3 area, so I had to build a little power station. And then once I had that done, it needed something to connect to, so I had to build a little fuel cell stand with some hoses and valves. So yeah, just a couple little builds so that it's not 100% sorting. I did get a little bit of building in. And the central portion of the workstation is the work bin. So basically what I'm doing is refilling this, sorting it all the way down, and then going back to the bins and doing it again. And what this does is it doesn't give me too much to work at one time. So it's not overwhelming. I can work all the way down through one of these in an hour or so. And depending on the piece size, which a lot of these I'm getting to smaller pieces now, that's maybe 2,000 to 4,000 parts every time I fill this up. Especially when you get to these smaller pieces that really pack together, you can get even past 4,000 pieces in one of these Sterilite bins. When you're starting at the top, when I'm starting at the top of one of these, and a lot of these are larger and they take up more room, then it goes quite a bit faster. But once you get to the bottom where all those smaller pieces have settled, it does start to drag on a little bit, but it does provide a nice subgroup of parts to work with so that I'm not, reaching down into a big bin, and it keeps it local, keeps it smaller, easy to maneuver, easy to reach everything. And the important thing is I can reach all these categories from one spot. I don't have to get up and move around a whole lot. I can just do it all from right here, get some music going, get some snacks in reach, and just get to sorting. So yeah, it's been moving along. Been able to work on this for a couple evenings in a row and get this far. And once I do work all the way through, I've got the rest of this bin and then another half of this tub that's full of loose stuff. And at that point, once everything's into these groupings, I might look at getting one of the Acro Mills units and start working through some of the groupings. Modified bricks especially has a lot of different part types in there that could get sorted out. I feel like the bricks and plates would be okay. If I'm looking for a specific brick or plate size in those bins, it isn't going to take too much work to dig through and get them. But like for something like the modified bricks, where there's way higher number of different part types, it might be handy to have those more sorted. But I'm not quite there yet. I do want to get all the way through those 2 bins first, which will be probably into April for sorting. And I'm not necessarily trying to rush through it and get it done. It's just been something that I've had time to work on, and not necessarily getting things built, but one of the things that I did want to do, and I brought it along to this apartment. So I've been working on it and made some progress. So that is the sort report. I thought about putting this in the footnotes, but I figured there's enough to talk about here with the method and the progress. Make a separate video for you guys here at the end of March. And I am going to put my vertical Lego activity board, the V-Lab, in the footnotes for this month, that will actually show which days I've been sorting and working on projects. So keep an eye out for that. A couple days here, but that is what I've been doing with the sorting progress. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later on Brick System Brothers.